3, 2, 1.
What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, February 18th, 2020. The 50 daily moving average crossed above the 200 daily moving average. It's trending in crypto land. What do you think about it? If you want to see what this looks like happening real time on the 4-hour charts, the resistance that is ahead, then watch this video. Let's jump in. What's up, everyone? Bitcoin, the 50 moving average crossed above the 200 moving average. Everybody talking about it. It is trending on Crypto Social. It's bullish. There's no doubt about it. And the reason it's bullish is because historically, and that's what technical analysis is, historical data, applying it to current events, historically, when this happens for Bitcoin, Bitcoin has a tendency to go kind of crazy. So if we're looking at the charts, here's that 50 moving average cross above the 200 moving average, that blue line above the red line. And we can zoom out on Bitcoin and just get an idea of the last couple times this happened. For price range, we can look at back in April 2019, we had that 50 moving average cross and we had price gains of almost 200%. More importantly, if we want this actual current 50 moving average cross above the 200 moving average to hold, we see some really solid areas of resistance right now. We have this trend line from January 2nd, 2020 or so, the last couple months, the last month and a half, acting kind of as support as we get these higher low bounces on Bitcoin. But currently, Bitcoin in the last few days breaking below that area and now testing the lower trend line. Bitcoin has a lot of resistance on this 4-hour chart now that I really just want to talk about. I want to look at. We don't talk about the 4-hour chart all the time on this channel, but I think right now it's relevant. So we have that longer term, lower trend line the last, month and a half or so. Bitcoin kind of trying to make a run for it once again. I have the circle here though because there's other confluence happening here, and that is the 50 moving average, this blue line on the 4-hour, and the mental barrier of $10,000. Now, on these charts, we know that upwards of around $11,000 or so, Bitcoin has a huge resistance area. I've been saying that it's more relevant than $10,000, but now where Bitcoin is today, this mental barrier of $10,000 has really become a technical barrier as well. Now, when we're looking for something to happen so bullish as the 50 moving average cross above the 200 moving average, Bitcoin breaking a key technical resistance area with 3 confluent data points could be the key factor that gets that 50 moving average cross to really, really lead to a bullish break for Bitcoin, where we see perhaps $11,000 tested rather quickly. Now, I want to talk about this because it's important. If we just look at this new trend that Bitcoin is in since our previous swing high, we have a couple things going on here, right? Bitcoin made that swing high. Everybody's kind of looking for consolidation and looking for basically a continuation of Bitcoin. Now, we plot this lower trend line here on the 4-hour chart, and we have this falling wedge Bitcoin has broken out of, and we find ourselves in this very small range from that upper trend line to this huge confluent area of right around 4%, that $10,000 area, that 50 moving average area, and that trend line area of resistance. Right around 4% Bitcoin is currently trading. 4% can make the difference on the direction of Bitcoin in the short to mid-term, because we do know Bitcoin could have an extremely bullish break above these confluent technical resistance areas and start making a move and making new higher highs and higher lows. But there's always the possibility that Bitcoin sees resistance here, right? And from this swing high that we had in February 14th, around four days ago, Bitcoin could be putting in basically a swing high leading into another swing low if we test this area, this trend line here, and fall back into this wedge, right? So $9,200 could come just as quick as $11,000. And these are the things that we watch for today. This is the type of thing that makes Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart interesting to me. I don't always cover the 4-hour chart, but when we're at these very critical areas in a 4% range, kind of getting squeezed into this short time frame, Bitcoin's probably getting ready to make a move one way or another. I think these are the times where we can really sit back and kind of formulate a game plan, because if Bitcoin does break above these technical indicators, I believe Bitcoin will be hitting $11,000 rather quickly. We will kind of be falling back into this upward trend of higher highs, as we see on the chart, and breaking previous highs, and once again testing $11,000. That is if Bitcoin can break through this huge technical area of resistance right around $10,000. Interestingly, one thing I am looking on is Google Trends. What does Google Trends tell us? I think we can get a really clear snapshot zooming out on the charts on the 12-month Google Trend chart. And why is that? Bitcoin halving is 83 days away. And if we look at Google Trends, we can revisit that June swing high that Bitcoin had. And if you look at Google Trends, we have higher highs and higher lows leading into that, right? March, and then we have April, June, higher highs, higher lows in terms of Google Trends. And if we really want this break for Bitcoin, and we can zoom back out on the daily chart, if we want Bitcoin to continue in this upward trend and even break those swing highs that Bitcoin had in June, and we're talking about $13,000 plus, if we want that to happen, you will see this Google Trend chart begin to put in higher highs and higher lows leading up to that 100 data point that we see on this graph. And those are some things I'm also watching from a social indicator. But as we know, we have to zoom in on these indicators on the 4-hour chart, and we have to look for resistance to be broken. One thing that is interesting to me, Bitcoin on the stock RSI, the quicker moving momentum oscillator, in that overbought area, as we see these higher highs, these swing highs Bitcoin has been getting, falling into this overbought area on the stock RSI right before consolidation back down. And this is just yet another indicator that we have to keep an eye on this 4-hour chart. Leave the emotionality out of it, everybody. Bitcoin markets on the 4-hour charts can get kind of crazy. It could go either way, but what we do know is if Bitcoin breaks $10,000 this time, it really could truly be the beginning of a very, very bullish break for Bitcoin, because the charts are lining up. Bitcoin is kind of getting squeezed into the shorter time frame area of resistance. Bitcoin needs to make a move. What do you think that move will be? I'm curious to know your thoughts. If you're here right now and you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. It truly means a lot to me as we grow this channel, almost at 30,000 subs. Thank you, everybody. Hit the like button on your way out. I appreciate you. I will see you in the next video. Have a good day, and God bless.